Our next guest speaker took over the reins of the middleweight division following Marvelous Marvin Hagler's retirement. When Marvin retired in 1987, under disputed circumstances, as a few people have mentioned today, I don't think a lot of people felt there was a true new middleweight champion until this man took the reins. Folks, I would like to introduce to you right now a future Hall of Famer, the former undisputed middleweight and light heavyweight champion of the world, who, like Marvelous Marvin Hagler, never had it easy coming up. He took the hard road and persevered and had one of the greatest careers in boxing history. Ladies and gentlemen, from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the executioner, the alien, Bernard Hopkins.
Y'all heard him, so he's right. But listen, first, my condolences to my family and also Golden Boy family, a promotion. We give you that respect, Mom Hagler, to thank you first for giving us, the boxing world, and the people that love his work and love the way he represented the sport. We thank you for giving us your son, because he came from that side right there. Mother. You know, when Al Bernstein was up here, he mentioned Marvin Hagler retired in 1988. It ain't about me, but just be patient for a second, not a minute. And the first thing that clicked in my head, still being super sharp to think ahead of what's ready to come or what's ready to be said after that. He said Marvin Hagler retired in 1988. Why that has a connection to me, because 87, 86, going backwards, 85, I was in an institution called State Correctional Institution of Greater Ford. And I used to cut out pictures of Marvin Hagler. I still have that scrapbook. My film guy, Kristen Winters, right there, my other guy on the right side. I said, you know, I'm gonna go in my box of all the things I kept when I was away and how I studied this man, this inspiration to me that gave me hope. I had to put the work in, no doubt. I had to do what I needed to do to be who I became. But it was Hagler, who I never met at that particular time. When I was released in 88, he retired in 88. Call it luck, call it a coincidence. I call it passing the torch. We didn't have to know each other to pass the torch. Eventually, as years went on, and I establishing myself, and it ain't about me. Just bear with me. I'm gonna tie it together. Trust me on it. I had to look at Hagler not being the Olympian. I wasn't either. Hagler had to come through Philadelphia and beat some of the greats out of Philadelphia the second time around, because he lost the first time around. Is that correct? Yeah. Boogaloo Watts. Willie the Worm Monroe. They all the legends in Philadelphia and past Philadelphia. And he came back and correct what he needed to correct the second time. I'm gonna tie myself in there again, but it ain't about me. But it's so much that I gotta say because of that. Marvin Hagler being a part of boxing history at that time and being part of the champions or the champion at that time gave me hope. Now I had to come out and portray what Marvin Hagler was known for, and that was more than one thing, from my perspective. Discipline. Always ready, don't never have to get ready. went to camp for peace of mind. You know, we got these fourth, fifth, third cousins. I love y'all, but y'all want tickets and y'all calling the night before the fight. I got to sleep. Marvin Hagler was the most, from my perspective, disciplined fighter until I accepted the baton. There'll never be another Marvin Hagler, we know that. But there are seeds out here that are representing Marvin Hagler, and you're looking at one right now. Marvin Hagler physically is gone. But because of Marvin Hagler, you have me. But you have not only me as a person, you have a strong, ready to fight, any cause, anytime, anywhere. That was Marvin Hagler. He never shied away from anyone. He never looked at any contender that was on his heels, whether he was 1, 2, 3, or 4 contenders, and he was at the championship level or championship representation of that title. He fought everybody. I wanted to emulate, and I did, emulate the attributes of the things that I felt was different than what anybody else was doing in any weight class at that time. Yes, you had Tommy Hearns. Yes, you had Sugar Ray Leonard and everybody else. But when you had Marvin Hagler, I think of the Tommy Hitman Hearns. I think of the Ray Leonards. I think of the Roberto Durans. And I say in my era, and I look back with the names and the legacy, we are the next generation coming from that. And I accept the torch without ever meeting the guy at that time, or Hagler. Simply marvelous. Being a part of promotion today, Golden Boy Promotion, we had the pleasure of meeting your son. I had the pleasure for the first time meeting Marvelous Marvin Hagler. And it was in Vegas, and guess what? It was going up against or breaking the legendary record of Marvin Hagler, title defense, 14 title defenses, unheard of in boxing in one weight class. Consistency is what Marvin Hagler represented. And he showed up for respect of history and recognized that the middleweight division that he ruled was in damn good hands. And then I took it to 20, as Al Bernstein said an hour or two ago. And I learned, as most asked me prior to getting into the Hall of Fame 2020, and because of course COVID, we're gonna do it next year, 3 years combined to one. Get your tickets now. When I go there in Calistoga, New York, where I also seen Hagler many times because he showed many years there to support the new Hall of Famers, I will be supporting your son, your king. Marvin Hagler will always live on as long as the middleweight division exists in the middleweight or any title that they have in the weight classes. You know why? Because someone is watching me, and someone's going to see this, and someone's going to hear this, and someone's going to look at my legacy like I looked at Marvin Hagler. It gets passed down a generation. It's the same thing as how we recognize as people that we are, and we know who we are. Take that, not philosophy, truth. Take that and add it to other things, and you will never be left in the dark. Marvin Hagler taught me how to be disciplined, how to not take anyone for granted, and how to be consistency, had to be consistent no matter what nobody say. See, it took a long time for my hair to fall out, but I recognize that it's a good thing because of Marvin Hagler. I hit a lot of guys, not low, they said it was, but I watched Marvin Hagler destroy guys systematically, break them down mentally, physically, and all of the talent that you can see that he had and have, from the orthodox to the southpaw to the switching of styles. He'll mentally break you down. See, this is science. There's a lot of fighters in here. Demetrius Andre, middleweight. There's a lot of fighters here that I'm speaking this way because I want them to hear this. History's been, the past, history's been left for you to learn. There's a blueprint in every generation, in every sport, in every life experience. You must take those lessons and use it to your best ability. Everybody ain't gonna be Marvelous Marvin Hagler. Everybody ain't gonna be Bernard Hopkins. But once you carve out early, sooner than later, your gifts, then you will be marvelous. I promise you. I said I'll be 11 minutes. I'm gonna take 3 more. Because I never really can predict, knowing how I felt about a man that I didn't know personally, but gave me strength to become who I became and known as this modern day Hagler at the time I was boxing, which I stopped at 52. I'm 56 now. All that has to do with what? I had a blueprint. You have a blueprint. Young man, you have a blueprint. Ladies, y'all have a blueprint. I'm talking to, no discrimination, my people. You have a blueprint. And those who are not in the community, y'all have a blueprint also. Take that blueprint. Take that talent. Recognize your talent. Don't disrespect your talent, because everybody don't have it. It wasn't set up that way. And that's how I am at peace of this moment, going and understanding that I'm here to speak about somebody I idoled and somebody that I looked up to from afar in a dark place. And now I can share the house of the Hall of Fame with someone and many champions, Tommy Hearns, Ray Leonard, Hagler, Marvelous Marvin Hagler. And I came from being inspired by a great man and a great man, and that I'm here to speak at his memorial. Yeah, dreams come true, but you must wake up before they do. Thank you. Never let no one tell you. Marvelous Marvin Hagler would tell you. I'm pretty sure never let no one tell you what you can't do. Because you know why? Simply marvelous, baby.
You know, it's important for us to recognize that, as we routinely say throughout the day, that Marvelous Marvin Hagler was the greatest middleweight champion in history. We say that with good reason. For one, Marvin Hagler earned that distinction. For two, we sincerely believe it. And 3, there's not a boxing historian alive that would even try to dispute it. However, in the wake of those incredibly dignified and humble remarks from Bernard Hopkins, I think it's proper of us as an audience to realize that when the conversation comes up as to who the greatest middleweights of all time are, that man, Bernard Hopkins, is in the conversation. So thank you so much for Bernard for being here today and paying your respects to Marvelous Marvin Hagler.